I would first like to apologize for the late start. I noticed all the judges are well decked out to participate in this lovely debate. We will be having Team Lenora and Team FAPC in the final match of the debate quarterfinals. Once again, this is set to be an exciting matchup where it's all females. No male in sight tonight. And they will be debating the topic, or the use of technology has reduced crime. What an interesting topic. We're bound to see a lot of great information coming out in this debate. Before we begin, I would just like to indicate the timing for the various teams so that the proposing for a speaker will have 8 minutes. The opposing speaker will have 8 minutes. The second speaker, respectively, for both teams will have 6 minutes. The third speaker for both teams will have 5 minutes. There will be a 10 minutes preparation for rebuttal, and then the opposing team will have 5 minutes to prepare their deliver their rebuttal speech, as well as the opposing team. The timekeeper will sound once for you to begin, and 1 minute before your time expires, he will sound the glass again. Upon completion of your time, he will sound it twice, and that will indicate maybe that the judges aren't listening anymore. Good. Without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Sumner to introduce our Chief Judge. Can you please give her a round of applause?
ZARA's Coordinator ASP Hanover, Subdivisional Subordinate Officer Sergeant Ramsey, Administrative Sergeant of ZARA, Sergeant Williams, Honorable Judges, fellow Center admins, special invitees, good night all. The privilege is mine this evening to introduce our Chief Judge. Jermaine Hatton is a medical doctor and a university lecturer. As a medical doctor, his end goal is to see equal access to healthcare nationwide. Additionally, he also has a keen interest in politics and an undying passion for education. He is particularly interested in seeing the education of those who are considered underprivileged and underserved, since he is a strong believer that education is the truest equalizer of economic inequalities and social injustices. Dr. Hatton holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Medical Technology, passed with distinction, and a Bachelor's of Medicine, Bachelor's of Surgery degree, also passed with distinction, from the University of Guyana. In 2019, Dr. Hatton was a member of the Youth Parliament, where he was awarded the Speaker's Award for his exceptional debating skills. In 2020, he represented Guyana at the Commonwealth Youth Parliament, where he acted as chairman of the Health Committee and promoted the important conversation about COVID-19. In 2022, the University of Guyana awarded him the Council of the University of Guyana Prize for the student that has made the greatest contribution to the university in other areas of university life. Dr. Hatton has been a CXC marker for a number of years, where he marks the English language, literature, and communication studies examination. He currently lectures in the School of Medicine, University of Guyana, in the areas of chemical pathology and academic writing. Outside of academia, he enjoys a hot plate of curry chicken, traveling, and sightseeing. Good luck to both teams, and I wish you all an entertaining evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sumner. I will now invite Ms. Emtage, who will be introducing the second judge, as well as the proposing team.
Coordinator, Ghana Police Force, ZARA Computer Centers, ASB Hanover. Divisional Subordinate Officer 1, Sergeant Ramsey, sorry. Administrative Sergeant of ZARA Computer Centers, Sergeant Williams. Honorable judges, special invitees, member of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all, good evening. My name is Ms. Ashley Emtage, Center Administrator at the Leonora ZARA Computer Center. Please join me in welcoming Mistress Yolanda Orokium, a Learning and Development Specialist, Project Manager, and Managing Director of Apexify Corporate Training and Consultancy. Mistress Orokium has more than 13 years experience teaching high school English and literature and has judged numerous debate competitions during this time, so she's no stranger to this stage. With that being said, our respective debaters are Veronica Wilson, that's our first speaker, Vanita Shivnath, second speaker, Dawn Jacobs, third speaker, and Razia Wong, the standby. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Emtage. I will now invite Ms. Yanela to introduce the third judge and the opposing team.
Coordinator, ZARA Computer Centers, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Gladwin Hanover. Subdivisional Subordinate Officer, Sergeant Ramsey. Administrative Sergeant, Ghana Police Force, ZARA Computer Centers, Sergeant Williams. Esteemed judges, member of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening all. My name is Yanela Hanover, the Center Administrator for the Felix Austin Police College, ZARA Computer Center. This evening, the simple task of mine is to introduce to you a beautiful and an intelligent woman. Mrs. Rosamond Hope has been in the teaching profession, for the past 23 years. She has taught at the Central High School and is currently an English teacher of grades 7 to 11 at the St. Rose's High School. She is a steadfast advocate for public speaking, which has given her the opportunity to actively participate in and judge numerous debating competitions such as Rosamond Adu Interhouse and the National JOF Haynes debating competitions. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Rosamond Hope. And secondly, our intelligent opposing team. First speaker, Ms. Natisha Walcott, Ms. Nia Mars. Third speaker, Ms. Leonie Lane, and our standby speaker, Ms. Nashavian Kelman. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yanela. I will now invite the first speaker of the proposing team to deliver her arguments on the moot. The use of technology has reduced crime.
Gracious judges, learned colleagues, friends of the opposition, members of the audience, all within the proximity of my voice, good evening. I, Veronica Wilson, courageously stand as the first speaker of the proposing team to propose the moot which says, and I quote, "The use of technology has reduced crimes," end of quote. Our second speaker, Ms. Vanita Shivnath, will look at the types of scientific application that has aided in the reduction of crime. Our third speaker, Ms. Dawn Jacobs, will boldly end with a comparison of the crime rate before and after the advancement of technology. Hence, proving to you our standpoint on tonight's moot. First, allow me to define the key words in the moot, which are use, technology, reduced, and crimes. These words will be defined according to the Oxford English Dictionary. Use can be defined as, and I quote, do something with an object or adopt a method, end of quote. Technology can be defined as, and I quote, the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, end of quote. Reduced, which is the past tense for reduce, hence reduce can be defined as, and I quote, make or become less, end of quote. Crime is defined as, and I quote, an illegal act that is punished by the law, end of quote. Honorable judges, after defining the key words in the move, same can be now read as illegal acts has become less with the application of scientific knowledge. Attentive audience, many of us go about our days peacefully, from work to home and home again, not recognizing what it takes behind the scene to keep us safe. Technology continues to make it hard for persons to commit crimes, thus making our communities safer places for us to live and work in. And with these advancements, the law enforcement officers are able to do data mapping, hence the Database Management Unit, DBMIU, that has been decentralized within all the police regions in Guyana. And the subordinate officer in charge of this department in region number 3, she says that this department uses data mapping and it provides them with a clear geographical look at the types and volumes of crime that happens in a particular area. And when this information is gathered, the commander is given a brief as to the patterns of crimes in the different areas and the possible ways that he can tackle same. And when the information is obtained, law enforcement officers strategizes effectively, hence preventing criminals from carrying out illegal acts. And this has proven to be effective over the years, thus reducing the crime rate within the regions and the country at large. In a publication by Caribbean Local News dated November 15, 2022, under the caption, Guyana Police Force says crime has decreased in 2022. It stated, and I quote, Crime Chief of the Guyana Police Force, Wendell Blanham, has reported that crimes in Guyana has decreased by 19% for the period January 1 to November 13, 2022, when compared to the same time last year, end of quote. This report was given during the launch of the Christmas Policing Plan 2022. It also mentioned, and I quote, crimes in Guyana are at its lowest that they have ever been in 10 years, end of quote. Esteemed judges, there you have it. After thorough analysis, the record shows that crime has reduced. And yes, the reason for this is the use of technology. According to the crime analyst, she said, and I quote, technological advancements has been one of the main driving forces leading to continuous improvement of crime control and crime prevention strategies, end of quote. Our Commissioner-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and our President, Dr. Irfan Ali, at the Guyana Police Force's annual officers conference that was held at the Chang Conference Center in 2022, on the opening day, he touted to have a technology-driven force. Why did he mention this? It is because he too has seen the reduction in crime and has pledged to have a smart, technological-driven force for crime prevention. Members of the audience, 15 and 20 years ago, we did not have all the advancements that we have now when it comes to technology. And the Guyana Police Force has noted the successes that they have been getting over the years. and wants to continue with the same trend so that we all can live comfortable. So they invest in several courses like crime and traffic analysis using Excel, forensic science, and criminology. Friends of the opposition, the evidence is clear, and you have all been enjoying safer communities. So there is no need for you to beat yourselves to believe otherwise. For the use of technology has, and I repeat, the use of technology has reduced crimes. Members of the audience, our friends may want to tell us that long ago we did not hear about a lot of crimes, but we hear of them today. But mind you, lest you be misled, it is with this same technology that exposes crimes today. And we did not have all these advancements as we had back then. And a lot of things were not published. But the fact still remains the same, that crimes has reduced, and this is due to technology. The records are clear, and the records show this fact. The opposition will not want to acknowledge this fact, that technology has aided in the reduction of crime. They may want to put fear in us, for the fact fear sells, and will highlight that the threats of new technologies enables crime. But the question here tonight is whether or not technology, which is the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, has reduced crime. And the answer is yes. Yes, it has.
I'll now invite the first speaker of the opposing team to deliver her arguments.
Honorable judges, dear friends of the proposition, members of the media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen all, a pleasant good evening to you. I, Natisha Walcott, rise as the first speaker and leader of the opposition with my team to confidently refute the moot which reads, and I quote, "The use of technology has reduced crime," end of quote. Before I proceed any further, permit me to define some key terms in the moot. According to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, use is defined as, and I quote, "a method or manner of employing or applying something," end of quote. Collins Dictionary defines technology as, and I quote, "methods, systems, and devices which are the results of scientific knowledge being used for practical purposes," end of quote. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines reduce as, and I quote, "to make smaller in size, amount, or number," end of quote. And finally, crime as, and I quote, "as an illegal act for which someone can be punished by law," end of quote. Having studied these definitions, the moot reinterpreted therefore reads, "the method of applying systems and devices which are the result of scientific knowledge has made smaller in number illegal acts for which someone can be punished by law." We totally disagree with the moot. Distinguished judges, members of the audience, I will expound on cybercrime, producing resounding evidence to support my arguments. My second and dynamic speaker, Ms. Nia Mars, will deal with technology and produce solid statistics, and my articulate final speaker, Ms. Leonie Lane, will sum up her argument and further convince you that the use of technology has not reduced crime. She will be presenting the real factors that contributes in the reduction of crime. In her argument, you will see that technology is not one of them. Before I begin my argument, please allow me to educate you on the prevalent crimes committed before the use of technology. Here it is. In the 1800s, our ancestors were plagued but limited to crimes like simple larceny, or what we knew back then as choke and rob, assault, which we identified as fighting hand to hand, or in rare cases, murder, as it was extremely difficult to kill someone with your bare hands. However, since the use of technology, choking and robbing someone of the little change in their pocket has turned into bank frauds of millions from their accounts, settling a score hand-to-hand has evolved into the use of technological weapons, such as high-powered guns and drones to easily inflict damages, making it easier to kill. Members of the proposition, have you not noticed an increase in crime since the use of technology? No? According to Dr. Arsalan, in his article Criminology, stated that the world is changing continuously. Changes such as technology and even the nature of crime has and is still changing. With the advancement of technology, Dr. Arsalan noted that criminals have found new ways to perform criminal activities, so crime has also become more technology-oriented. The rates of technology-related crimes, have increased over the last decade, causing over 300 new crimes within the said period. Use technology or based on technology, crimes like cyberbullying, cyber assault, cyber extortion, human malware, hacking, child-based pornography, identity theft, financial theft, and other cyber crimes have come about. Some of you in this very room, maybe even sitting on the proposition side, are victims of some sort of technology crime that was not in existence prior to the use of technology. A 2007 study by the University of Maryland found that malicious hackers were previously attacking computers and networks at a rate of 1 attack every 39 seconds. The Internet Crime Complaint Center 2020 found that there were 465,177 reported attacks that year, which works out at 1 successful attack every 1.12 seconds. Notably, 1 attack to 53 attacks every minute is an increase. But attentive audience, don't listen to me, you be the judge. A report from the Kitra News on the 27th of January 2009 reported that millions in bank fraud uncovered. The proposition will want to say, man, this long and technology advance are now reducing crimes. In the 1800s, it was impossible to commit such a crime. But with the use of technology, statistics shows that with the advancement of technology in full steam, just recently, on the 31st of May 2019, an article named Republic Bank Visa Scam on iNews Guyana reported that the then finance minister announced publicly that customers will be protected. On 11th June of the same year, a matter of 11 days apart, a report by Stabrook News revealed that the Republic Bank again repays to its customers over $5 million as a result of fraudulent activity on its Visa's international debit card. Distinguished judges, intelligent audience, dear friends of the proposition, you be the judge. Has the use of technology reduced crime or increased it? The World Headline Cybercrime Statistics for 2019 to 2020 stated that there were 153 million new malwares from March 2021 to February 2022, a 5% increase on the previous year, which saw 145.8 million. Honorable judges, has the use of technology really reduced crime or increased it? Learned judges, well-informed audience, you mean to tell me that you are going to sit here as right-minded individuals having common sense and allow the proposition to mislead you into thinking that the use of technology has reduced crime? After I have given you solid evidence to support that from the implementation of technology, there has been over 300 new crimes, which instead of making smaller is making larger the number of acts a person can be punished by law. Honorable judges, respected audience, you're big and you have sense. I will now take my seat and leave my colleagues to continue our journey in convincing you that the use of technology has not reduced crime, but in fact increased it. Thank you.
I'll now invite the second speaker of the proposing team to deliver her arguments.
Attentive audience, technology now plays a critical role in policing and security management, and the opposition will want to tell us that with the advancement of technology, we experience a darker side of technology and it has created new opportunities for criminals. But this is not so, Lord Judges. On Wednesday, 21st December 2022, Deputy Commissioner Law Enforcement, Mr. Weldon Blenheim, at their annual departmental award ceremony, mentioned, and I quote, Guyana's detection rate is at an all-time high when compared to Trinidad and Tobago. End of quote. Most esteemed judges, here you have it. It is because of the implementation of scientific knowledge that we have these results today. At the aforementioned ceremony, Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Robson Ben, stated, and I quote, the reduction in crimes are credit to the improved performance and the application of technological approaches. End of quote. Hence, it is announced that government will continue to invest in new equipment. Lord Judges, have it not been for the reduction in crimes, would our government have invested in equipment for the lawmen? Attentive audience, I am sure that you have heard of closed circuit television, CCTV civilians that are all over the capital city and are being set up in all regions. These cameras are intended to reduce crime through several mechanisms. It helps to deter offenders who are afraid of being identified committing crimes on camera. And also, it can help law enforcement officers to intervene before a crime occurs. Our global positioning system, GPS, it deters a lot of persons from stealing. Larceny of cell phones were a prevalent offense, but due to the fact that those phones are being tracked and found, we have less cases of larceny of phones. The words of the regional detective officer of Police Region Number 3, Mr. Da Silva. According to our crime chief, if you want to know about the crime situation in Guyana, who better to ask than the crime chief himself? And with that said, Mr. Blenheim has said in an interview, he said, and I quote, with all the advancement in technology, we as a force have seen our crime rate has reduced tremendously. End of quote. Members of the audience, there are various types of scientific application and that are being used in our world today by the law enforcement officer, and it has helped in the reduction of crimes. Such technologies are medical, operational, and communication field, data mapping, smartphone tracking, social media, surveillance, and Wi-Fi capabilities. With these advancements, crimes has reduced, and I repeat, crimes has been reduced.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I'll now invite the second speaker of the opposing team to deliver her arguments.
I, Nehemiah, the astute second speaker of the opposition, rise before you tonight to continue our stance on the moot, and I quote, "The use of technology has reduced crime," end quote. All protocols established. Our eloquent first speaker successfully established that the use of technology has not reduced crime, but in fact increased it. I will further support this notion by stating how technology rather aids in the elucidation of crime. Honorable judges, listening audience, when we think about the purpose technology was supposed to achieve for us, what do we usually mention about it? Most will tell you that the whole idea was meant to make our lives easier and better, which was and still is true. Unfortunately, technology has taken over the world and has allowed for individuals to commit crimes easily and get away with it. What proof do I have? Let's examine ways in which technology aids crime. Terrorists are now using technologies like nuclear weapons, radar equipment, drones, advanced guns, and missiles to commit crimes. I'm sure we can all remember September 11, 2001, 9/11, when 4 planes in the US were seized and hijacked simultaneously by small teams of suicide terrorists and then used as giant guided missiles to crash into landmark buildings in Washington and New York. The technology in this case was the planes and nuclear bombs aboard, which according to my first speaker are devices which are the results of scientific knowledge used for 2,977 persons being killed in that dreadful and deadly attack, which could not have been possible without the use of technology. Delusional members of the proposition, please tell our honorable judges and listening audience, in this case, was technology reducing crime? No! Technology was a great aid to the cause of 2,977 murders, which, as a result of its usage, was recorded as one of the most devastating ordeals in the world. Our first speaker also alluded to how difficult it was to kill in the 1800s. But with technology, again, in the form of high-powered weapons like automatic guns, discharging up to 60 fatal rounds from one magazine and from a safe distance, made it very easy to kill. The proposition may want to tell you that advanced weapons is one of the main technologies in reducing crime. But how? According to the National Center for Education Statistics, there has been 783 shootings with deaths or injuries at elementary and secondary schools in the US since 2000. 783 shootings. That is already a big number. But mind you, at each of these shootings, several persons died with the use of one single gun. Do you remember the news on the 24th of May, 2022, when an 18-year-old man brutally killed 19 children and 2 teachers at a Texas elementary school? One gun killed 21 persons in just a matter of minutes. Honorable judges, innocent children died as a result of technology in the hands of one heartless man. Can the proposition really convince you that the use of technology reduces crime? Let us now shift our focus to mainstream technology, which we all are exposed to. When we think of entertainment and research, technology is running the show. We can Google just about anything. For example, how to kill someone and not get caught. And we'll get a step-by-step results in just seconds. If you don't believe me, Google it now. There is even a TV show, go ahead. There's even a TV show that is called How to Get Away with Murder, where the show itself literally teaches you how to commit actual murder and wiggle your way out of it. Misguided members of the proposition, what a way technology is reducing crime. Learn to judges. Attentive audience, with all this information at our fingertips, do you really think that criminals will not use it to their advantage? And when they do you think the result will be reduced crime or increased crime? I could go on and on about how the use of technology has increased crime, but I will take my seat and allow our third speaker to further cement our argument that the use of technology has not reduced crime, but rather increased it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I'll now invite the third speaker of the proposing team to deliver her arguments.
Okay. Learned judges, listening audience, members of the proposing team, I rise to formally reiterate what my learned colleagues would have said, that illegal acts has become less with the application of scientific knowledge. Judges, according to my second speaker who spoke on technology and the advancement, persons have now become more security conscious and have invested in security cameras in which they now install in their homes and in their businesses. For it is said, crime occurs in an insecure place and on vulnerable persons. And with these achievements, crime has been reduced. Judges, according to Mark Lebensi, a crime analyst of the United Kingdom, he said in a caption, and I quote, "We have never been safer than we are as now, and it's all thanks to technology." He further said that crime has been reduced, and it varies from country to country. He said, and I quote, "Car crimes has decreased, and in some countries it has halted, especially in the United Kingdom. This is mostly based on the shift in central locking, which electronic immobilizers that the manufacturers have deployed. With this, we have experienced a dramatic and the quickest drop in the crime rate. Honorable judges, listening audience, friends of the opposition, the murder rate in the United States of America, along with crime, has dropped by 1/3. At a glance, we would say no, technology is not responsible for this. But yes, according to the study conducted by the University of Massachusetts, Professor Anthony Harris said, and I quote, "The murder rate in the United States, along with crime, would have been 3 times higher had it not been for technology, communication, and medical technology." Judges, let me bring it home to our dear country, Guyana. Reviewing the crime stats provided by the Criminal Investigation Department, Eve Leary, Georgetown, over the period 2001 to 2011 in Regional Division Number 3, previously D Division, shows that crime was 55%. Compared with the year 2012 to 2022, we would have seen a 15% decrease. In region number 10, the percent for 2001 to 2012 would have been 55%, and it's now 15% decrease. In region 6, it was previously 55, Now it is 34%. Honorable judges, as alluded by my learned speaker, the first speaker, who said, and I quote, Mr. Wendell Blanham would have said, we have seen a decrease in crime for the past 10 years. Honorable judges, I stand firmly, without a shadow of a doubt, in supporting my team that the use of technology has reduced crime. And I repeat, the use of technology has reduced crime. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I will now invite the third speaker of the opposing team to deliver arguments.
All protocols observed. I, Leodie Lynn, the brilliant third speaker of the opposition, stand boldly before you tonight to continue my team's opposition on the moot which states, and I quote, the use of technology has reduced crime, end quote. Our first and second speakers have already successfully established that technology has not reduced crime. It in fact increases and diversifies crime. But what are the real factors that actually reduce crime? Let's examine them. Intelligent and attentive judges. The ignorant proposition wants you to believe that technology such as CCTV cameras has reduced crime. But how? Well, we all know how CCTV cameras work. They record a crime after it has been committed. Now, if the crime has to be committed first, before it can be recorded, how is that going to reduce crime? Conversely, studies have shown that taking a more proactive approach to crime reduction, such as increasing police presence on the streets, can lead to a significant reduction in crime. In Guyana, we know that criminals flood the highly commercial streets of Georgetown during the Christmas time, robbing and inflicting wounds on tons of Guyanese during what's supposed to be a joyous season. However, last Christmas, we noticed that way more police were laden on the streets than usual, which according to Regional Division 4 ACE crime statistics, reports a reduction in crime by 19% compared to the previous year. Evidently, increased police presence has reduced crime, not technology. Learned judges. To determine another factor for reducing crime, let's address the root causes of crime. Around the globe, there is a very strong correlation between poverty and crime. Crime rates vary greatly from country to country and are influenced by many factors. For example, high poverty levels, inequality, and unemployment inflate a country's crime rates. An updated measure from the World Bank in 2022 found that Guyana's national poverty head count is amongst the highest in Latin America and the Caribbean at around 48%. In addition to that, the unemployment rate in Guyana is 16.4%. Now, since there is a correlation between poverty, unemployment, and crime, let us look at the crime statistics for that same time period. Based on the Crime Index 2022 reports, our little Guyana, with just under 1 million citizens, had the 8th highest crime rate worldwide at 68.74%. Armed robberies occur frequently as well, especially in Georgetown. Audience, when we as Guyanese think of communities in Guyana where crime is prevalent, the first areas come to mind are places like Arbaistown, Tiger Bay, Sophia, and even Buxton. But what do these communities all have in common? That's right, you guessed it, a high poverty and crime rate. When individuals feel that they have no other option to turn to, they may turn to crime as a means of survival. Therefore, by addressing these issues, we can create a safer and more just society for everyone. If persons realize that the police are enforcing more serious or detrimental penalties for persons who break the law, do you think they would still want to do so? If paying a bribe no longer allows criminals to have their cases swept under the rug, do you think they would still commit the crime? Surely they wouldn't. In addition to that, hiring and training more police officers, as well as implementing proactive strategies, all can greatly improve law enforcement and reduce crime. Hence, the implementation of stricter and more effective law enforcement, police has reduced crime, not technology. Impartial judges, attentive members of the audience, we have proven that technology increased crime rather than reduced it. We have produced facts and given real-life examples to support our arguments. With that being said, I refuse to think that the proposition can honestly say more to convince you that technology has reduced crime, rather increased it. Thank you.
You will now have 10 minutes to prepare your rebuttal argument. Thank you, Chief Judge. I will now invite the first speaker of the opposing team to deliver her rebuttal argument.
All protocols observed. My team and I tonight has successfully opposed the moot by firstly comparing the magnitude of crimes committed before and after the use of technology and provided resounding evidence showing the increase of crime since technology came into the picture. Secondly, we went a step further to not only show but prove that technology has not reduced but aided crime. Our comparative figures showed a vast increase in crime after the use of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, number don't lie. And lastly, if that wasn't enough, we've highlighted the root cause of crime and allowed the real factors that has and can reduce crime, which are increased police presence, implementation of stricter and more effective laws, and employment. Audience, the proposition speakers first, second, and third have failed miserably to convince the opposition or distinguished judges and you that technology has in the past reduced crime, but instead proved overwhelmingly how technology has aided in solving crime. They had one job tonight, one, but clearly they didn't understand the assignment. The first speaker of the proposition introduced a plan made by the Guyana Police Force, which was the Christmas policing plan. Did she mention how? No. My intelligent third speaker clearly expounded on the fact that there was a reduction due to police presence, not technology. She also alluded to technologies such as data mapping and DCIU. These technologies are processed by soft technologies, also known as software. Softwares that are hackable. You know what's hackable? Okay. I clearly explained giving solid statistics about hackers hacking software. I even give figures. The second speaker mentioned about the use of CCTV cameras. But how? My third speaker clearly explained how cameras work. She stated that the crime has to be committed before they can be recorded. Delusional members of the proposition. If the crime has to be committed before it can be recorded, isn't that one more crime added, which is contrary to the term reduce stated in the moot? She mentioned a whole lot of stuff about GPS and tracking softwares and so on. We argued that these technologies have not reduced crime. How has the proposition proven that technology reduced crime? They have not. We have proven that these technologies has aided in the increase in crime. I spoke about cyber crimes. All these technologies are controlled by softwares, as mentioned before. Softwares have glitches, which I alluded to in my argument as hacking. Again, all of these devices can be hacked. The third speaker mentioned or made mention about an article in the UK, but the author said, she said there was a reduction, but there was no solid statistics. If there's no solid statistics, there's no solid proof. How can we, the opposition, the audience, distinguished judges, really believe? The proposition may want you to believe that these technologies reduce crime, but we have proven that technology is more of an opportunity for criminals to commit crime. Most learned judges, I implore you not to allow the proposition to lower you into the delusional cell that they're caged in, into making you believe that technology has reduced crime, when my teammates and I have compared crimes before and after the introduction of technology and produced solid statistics as to how crime has skyrocketed. Our misguided counterparts have failed despondently to prove that the use of technology has reduced crime, but rather educated us extensively on how the use of technology has aided in solving crime. Members of the proposition, we sympathize with you for misunderstanding the moot, and maybe it is too late to tell you, but the moot is the use of technology has reduced crime and not solved crimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Judge. I'll now invite the first speaker of the proposing team to deliver her rebuttal arguments.
Good evening once again. Let me remind us of the moot, which says, and I quote, "The use of technology has reduced crimes." And our position still remains the same tonight, that technology has reduced crimes. The first speaker spoke of drones. She also spoke about crimes that exist because of technology. We are talking here about crimes being reduced because of technology. It's not about crimes that exist because of technology. You ask if crime has increased, and the answer would be no. Crime has not increased, but it has decreased, and our records clearly shows this fact. Your argument lacks sources, more so credible sources. Where did you get your information from? Your second speaker, as was mentioned, the proposition will want to put fear in us for fear sells. The second speaker tried this tactic when she spoke about 9/11. The moot did not speak that technology will rid crimes, will get rid of crimes altogether, but with technology, it will aid in the reduction of those crimes. If not, we will not be here tonight, sitting here comfortably. But the fact remains that technology has reduced crimes. Your third speaker spoke about CCTV and that it cannot reduce crimes. Think about it. Who in their right minds would want to commit a crime knowing that they will be caught on camera? You spoke of poverty as a cause of crime, and you called out several underprivileged villages. The moot speaks to whether or not technology reduces crimes. It did not ask for the causes of crime. And this clearly shows that your third speaker did not understand the moot and why she came here tonight. Because she keeps speaking about the causes of crime. The moot speaks to whether or not technology reduced crimes. She also said that the police are the ones that reducing crimes. What are the methods that the police use? Let me remind us of the meaning of technology. It's the application of scientific knowledge. And these are technologies that the police use. It clearly shows again that you did not understand the moot, but you basically list causes of crime. The moot never asks for the causes of crimes. It states the use of technology has reduced crime. And that is what you have to prove here tonight. As mentioned before, your arguments lack sources, and more so, credible sources. I repeat, our standpoint on tonight's note has not changed. And it clearly shows that technology has, and I repeat, has reduced crime. Hence, we are all here comfortable. And when we about to go home, we will not be affected by crime. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now invite the Chief Judge and the judging panel.
Good evening, all. For me, it was an excellent debating competition. But what I wanted to say is that in a debating competition, facts and evidence must show within your argument. And it was evident that one team did an excellent job in that and the other team needed some work. But all in all, it was exciting.
I was going to say good afternoon. Good evening again, everyone. I wanted to say a very exciting time. Quite different from a couple of nights ago. Much more than that, I'm looking at the team as well, and there's a difference. And I suppose that means you are here because you deserve to be here. Clearly, there is a difference. In addition to that, what I would like to say is there are strong speakers from both sides, and at every point last time Mr. Hanover was kind of thinking, I'm like on both sides, even rooting, and then I was like, you know what, is this right? Because one time I'm listening to you, I like what you were saying, I agree with what you're saying, and then at the same time, and then I had to switch back. But that's the power of debating, that's the power of persuasive language. That is what it's supposed to do. And so I want to commend each of you this evening for being here and coming prepared, because it really showed. That's for you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. All right, so first of all, I must say, we must applaud, the people of the audience must applaud themselves for being an excellent audience. I have probably never been to a debate where I had such an attentive audience. Yes. It was as if you were judging and you were listening to everything that's being said to be recorded. I think you did a wonderful job. Right? At some point, I had to look around to see the cues of the audience to see if you were buying what they were saying. Right? So that's good, they right? Were. I think the teams tonight must give themselves a round of applause. Clap for yourself. I have never been to a debate that had such a fierce rebuttal. Oh. And I think, unfortunately, we often say rebuttal win debates. But tonight's debate, while I will say there was an excellent rebuttal on one side, unfortunately, that side did not win. Unfortunately. Why? So let's look at some of the reasons why. One thing I must say that I did not like on either side. Horrible use of subject and verb agreement. Horrible. The subject was going north, and the verb was also going north with it. All right? So let's listen. So what? Subject is what the sentence is talking about. So we have some examples. Factors, crimes. Those subjects are plural. We're talking about more than one things. So the verb must also be plural. It means that the verb should not have S at the end. So we have factors can't reduces. Factors reduce. And then crimes have, not crimes has. And what was ridiculous, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so stern when I say this. I promise not to be the Simon of this competition, so I'll just say, let me tone it down. When you repeat the same nonsense twice, it's ridiculous, right? Right? And I'm happy that they're laughing because they recognize the error, right? So that's why practicing, you should be able to see the errors and make sure the error don't come out in an event like this, right? But nonetheless, things like that take away from the experience, right? And you want to make sure you rid yourselves of those errors, right? But again, it was a wonderful, wonderful initiative. I really must applaud the organizers of the event. I think they're doing an excellent job. I love the diversity that we have seen tonight. We have the young and the blessed. So I think we must applaud ourselves for such a wonderful diversity. And it was really a spark in tonight's debate. Attitude to the opponents. We are in a country where oftentimes we think we have to cuss somebody out when we disagree with them. That should not be. We have to be able to be tactful with how we make our point and how we disagree. I can disagree with you, but I don't necessarily have to cuss you out, right? So we had that disrespect coming from both sides of the debate. And at one point I was saying, you know what, okay, this will be the disrespectful side and the other side will not do it. And later on the next speaker, both views out again. So let's be a little more tactful. Now I can insult you without using the same delusional term. The term delusional is a very strong word. That actually is a medical diagnosis for somebody who is mentally ill, right? So we have to be careful. Delusional? Nah, I'm not going to you, don't worry. Oh, all protocols, the phrase all protocols being established is a term we use when we don't want to address someone on the other side. Don't do it, right? You can say good evening again, don't say all protocols being established, right? I like the play on words. It was beautiful. A debate is really playing with words, especially when you don't have a winning side of the debate. You have to interpret the slightest word there to show how that is on your side. For example, we see one side saying it reduces crime and not solve crime. The other side saying the crime cannot be solved when it already existed. And the use of technology showing that. So it was a brilliant use of word. I think the first speakers for both sides, they were listening speakers. Yes. And we must applaud them for that. They were listening. So even if somebody helped them with a speech, it meant that they understood what they were looking for. So I think it was an excellent first speaker today. We had both first speakers who were excellent speakers. Right? I'm happy I confused you there. Yes. So you have no idea who won the debate. So now I can give you the results. All right. Unfortunately, we have to have a winning side and a side that was not winning today. The proposition. Who's the proposition? Lenora. And then we had the opposition. The proposition ended with, I think they did a wonderful job, right? Give them a round of applause. And the opposition, they tried. Give them a round of applause. The proposition tried hard, right? Joking. So the proposition ended with, one team ended with 185, and the other team ended with 236. Did I announce the winners when I said the points? It probably meant that the person who wins is going to the finals. So it's important that I tell you the person who will win. Okay, all right, good night.
For security.
Please, for security.
Who's the security? Are we going to be protected? I hope you know that the judges' decisions are final, right? I'm joking. The winners tonight are the opposition. Oh, we have to give Best Speaker. Best Speaker. All right, so we think the best rebuttal came from the proposition. the best speaker came from both sides. I'm joking. We think that the best speaker came from the first speaker of the proposition.
Thank you, Chief Judge and the judging panel for increasing our heart rates. I will now invite you all to stand as we receive our closing remarks from our dear coordinator, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Mr. Hanover.
Have a seat, please. Honorable judges, members of the opposing and proposing team, members of the audience, members of the media, to the subdivisional subordinate officer, Sergeant Ramsey, and the administrative sergeant within the ZARA Community Centers, Sergeant Williams. Everyone, good evening again. I would have constantly talk about how I feel about debates, what the debate would do to me before and after the debate. I usually speak before the judges, and there is a reason why I speak before the judges. It's because I cannot withstand the weight. So tonight I decided that I was going to switch things up a bit. And the judges decided tonight as well to switch things up a bit. So the wait was a bit longer for me. And then at one point, I was really confused. Because when he started mentioning points for both teams, I sat there to myself and said, you know what? Yes, it's making sense. And I started to revisit how I was looking at the debate. And I said, you know what? This is the job for the judges. Let me stay clean out of it. I am again pleased with the performance of both teams. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to give a round of applause for the opposing and the proposing team. Like everything, we have a winner and a team that is the runner-up. So why I chose tonight to speak after the result is because of the significance of the results. The team tonight that won, we have a deciding factor amongst the two teams. The team that won on Wednesday and the team that won tonight. The two teams, the team with the most points will automatically be sent to the finals. And tonight that team is the opposing team, Team FAPC. Give them another round of applause. So our semifinals our finals is set with OTC versus Bartica. I think our semifinals. I think that competition is a showdown. I have seen Bartica performed and I have seen OTC perform. I am telling you, judges, you have your work cut out. So, with that being said, I would like to reiterate the reason for us having this debate. The debate while we're having friendly competition. It is mostly aimed at building community and police relationships. And we have seen in all of our debate matches that we have and we are still achieving that. So with that being said, I would encourage the proposing team and the opposing team to greet each other. I haven't seen you do it as yet. So greet each other. Our next debate will be not Wednesday coming, the following Wednesday. What date is that? So our semi-finals will be on the 3rd of May 2023. I'm encouraging you. It's right here. I'm encouraging you to come out and witness the debate and also to participate in our initiative as we are building community and police relationship. So as we go out, meet somebody, greet somebody. We have police men and women in the audience. We have civilians in the audience. Get to know someone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. C. Prasad. I'll now invite the judging panel, coordinator,